I am Tim David, and as that says, I am a mentalist, which means I'm not a psychic. So you don't have to freak out. You don't have to be like, oh my gosh. Don't look directly into his eyes. Don't think of my PIN number, right? It doesn't work that way. Your secrets are safe. I don't read minds. I read people. I look at body language, facial expressions, nonverbal communication. It gives me an idea of what someone is thinking. For example, I can already tell that that guy thinks this is a bunch of crap. I mean, he's like, whatever, mental boy, look at him. Just messing with you. So rather than try to explain what I do, I think I'll go ahead and just demonstrate it. To do that, I need everybody to think of a thought in your mind. Make it more specific, a celebrity or a famous figure. This could be anybody, as long as it's someone everybody would recognize. Now, I know fame is superficial, but this does need to be someone that everyone here will recognize. Living or dead, real or imaginary, is totally up to you. Now, would it be possible for you to look around the room and know what other people are thinking? Of course not. Those thoughts are locked inside our head. In fact, you have a thought locked in your head, yes? Excellent. I want you to think of that thought, and in a moment, I'm going to ask you to change your mind. But this is somebody that everybody here would recognize. This is somebody that you freely chose, and somebody that I couldn't possibly influence. Is that correct? Fantastic. In a moment, I'm going to have you change your mind. You're not thinking this is going to work, are you? Well, I hope it does, because I have a big 5-foot wall behind me and something interesting on the other side. For the first time out loud, would you please name the famous figure you are thinking of? Out loud. Again? Superman. Ladies and gentlemen, Superman. Interesting. Let me just kill that. Now, obviously, first thing you're wondering is he going to do the rest of his TED Talk dressed as Superman? Just be glad she didn't say Wonder Woman, right? That would have been even extra awkward. Now, the biggest question that people have for me after they see me do what I do as a mentalist is real simple. They ask, other than, can you teach my wife how to get changed that fast? They ask me a real simple question. How do you do it? Right? That's the question people often ask me. How do you get somebody to make the right choice? Obviously, I was committed to Superman. How do I influence that choice? How do I do it? And the answer is, I'm awesome. Seriously, do you see that? That was right on the money. But could it have been that I was able to use my superficial words and actions to influence the choice of another human being? The most successful people on planet Earth are able to move other people to action. The biggest chapters in our history books are dedicated to people movers. If you want to move mountains, you got to move people. Seriously, what good is a doctor who can't move a patient to adopt the treatment plan that they've laid out for him, to be a partner towards healing? What good is a teacher who can't engage students in their own learning? What good is a manager or a leader who can't motivate and inspire their teams to action? Salespeople want to use their influence to get prospects to buy their products. Politicians want to use their influence to get citizens to vote. Parents want to influence children to behave or to make wise decisions. Husbands want to influence their wives to, let them play more golf or whatever. Life is mentalism. It's everywhere. It's in our organizations, it's in our schools, it's in our governments, it's in our companies, and it's in our families. In fact, at its core, mentalism is really one skill at its core. It's core to everything that I do, and therefore also core to everything that you do. And that skill is a skill in crisis right now. It is disappearing from our planet faster than the most endangered species. It's the skill of human connection. Have you noticed? You see, it's interesting that the quantity of human connection has skyrocketed, hasn't it? We have our cell phones in our pockets. We can access our facey spaces and our MyTubes and our interwebbies and touch any person just about on planet Earth right now, and that's an awesome thing, isn't it? I mean, the quantity of human connection has skyrocketed. But as the quantity of human connection has skyrocketed, what has happened to the quality of human connection? Whatever the opposite of skyrocket is, right? I mean, it's in the toilet, it's tanking. And I have some evidence to show you here. One of the things that I look at is people when they make their hiring decisions, right? They look for something. I don't care if it's Forbes or Harvard Business Review or Wall Street Journal. They all look for the same thing. They look for communication skill. It always tops the list. And they're looking for communication skill because they can't find communication skill because people don't have it anymore. It's disappearing from our culture. But just communication, that's not the kind of human connection that I'm talking about, because this next slide is even more interesting. When it comes time to hire them, that's what they look for. But when it comes time to promote them, what do they look for? Working performance. Far and above anything else. So the bottom line is what you say does not matter. Does not matter what you say. Doesn't matter how you say it. The only thing that matters is the result that you get. Were you able to move that person to action? See, I believe that human connection is the most important skill for us to have, not just in the workplace, but in our lives. Because at the end of our life, we're going to look back at the connections that we've made and the relationships that we've had. And it's going to affect every single area of our lives. So I'm going to give you 5 keys to human connection. 5 keys to human connection. Each one of these keys is going to help you foster human connection in your life, in your work, in your family. And again, each one of these 5 things are disappearing from our culture, starting with authenticity. The internet allows us to be 100% anonymous, doesn't it? We got our screen names and our profiles and our avatars, and we can hide behind those things. We can be anonymous. In fact, anonymity has sparked Whisper, hasn't it? Whisper is this social network that's based 100% in anonymity. 3 billion page views per month. That's more than all of CNN.com, and it's rooted entirely in anonymity. No screen names, no profiles, just secrets. So we crave this authentic connection, but at the same time we're afraid, so we hide behind anonymity. Even with our Facebook profiles, man, I'll tell you what, we build up our profiles to make ourselves look really good, don't we? We put these pictures and these vacation slides, and we build ourselves up, and we put ourselves on this pedestal, and we make ourselves look like a superhero. Don't we? See, what's hard is taking off the bulletproof exterior that we've created for ourselves. Taking down that fake it till you make it persona, being authentic in our relationships with other people, that's hard. Seriously, it's really hard. But when we do, we become vulnerable. And it's just us in front of the world. Vulnerability equals authenticity. The more vulnerable we are, the more authentic we are. It's critically, critically important. Lois Lane was in love with Superman. She was infatuated with him. But Clark Kent was always after Lois's eye because he knew that that was just a suit. That wasn't the real him. It was inauthentic, and it wasn't good enough. You see, I'd rather be rejected for who I am than accepted for who I am not. Authenticity is the fertile soil where human connection can grow. The next thing that we look at is presence, the ability to be in the room with the people around us. How often have we seen this? A family sitting around the dinner table, all focused on their devices. They're not present. They're not in the moment. They're just checked out. And technology has given us the ability to be anywhere we want to be. And we need to have relationships that go beyond 2 thumbs and a screen. Now, they're not the only ones. 35% of people say they're on their cell phones while they're at social gatherings. 43% of people say that they're on their cell phones while spending time with family, which just beat out the 41% of people who said they are on their cell phones while in the bathroom. I didn't even think that was close. I don't know, maybe the shower threw them off. I don't think that was the image they had in mind. I'm not usually on my iPhone when I'm in the shower. So, again, presence is not a skill, it's not a trait, it's not something you're born with, it's simply a decision that we can make. That's all it is, just a decision. The human brain has amazing ability to focus on what you tell it to. Focus on the people around us. Next, number 3, curiosity. This one's fascinating. You want to be curious about other people. You want to be fascinated by them and interested in them and ask them questions and listen to their answers. Curiosity is very important with human connection because it means you're valuing other people higher than yourself. And that is a trait, again, that is disappearing from our culture. They say the best way to tell a narcissist is by how often they use singular personal pronouns. I, me, and mine. So I did a little check on Google. How often do people use those singular personal pronouns? And Google Books here with the Ngram viewer shows us exactly how many times those terms have been published. You'll see a steady increase over the last 30 years with a sharp uptick in the last 5 to 10 years in how often people are referring to themselves and talking about themselves. Here's another shocking graph. This one comes from Sarah Conrath. She's a research psychologist who studies empathy. And empathy is the ability to feel what other people are feeling and care about it. This is called empathic concern. Over the last 30 years, you can see, again, on a sharp decline with a specific or especially sharp decline over the last 5 or 10 years. We just aren't as curious about other people as we used to be. We just don't care. But the biggest factor, the biggest indicator of the fact that our culture is moving towards narcissism is the Oxford English dictionaries, right? Their reigning word of the year, right now for 2013, the reigning word of the year, let me take a selfie. Selfie, right? Now, this is really interesting because scientists have announced a new unit to accurately measure narcissism. It's called the selfie per hour. Right over there, you can see that, exactly how that is laid out. You see, we care a lot about ourselves, but again, curiosity is the ability to be fascinated with other people. The next one, gratitude. The ability to appreciate those people around us. See, as I've been researching my book, Magic Words, the chapter on the word thanks has been just completely eye-opening for me. If you do any research on gratitude, you're going to come across Dr. Robert Emmons. Robert Emmons is the world's foremost leading expert on gratitude research. And he says this: gratitude ties people together, creates human connection. In society, ingratitude weakens our bond to others. We knew this. We don't need decades of gratitude research to tell us that ingratitude is the most unattractive trait in a person, right? I mean, there's a couple of quotes over the years, and there's literally hundreds and thousands of these. Ingratitude is treason to mankind. I love that one. Ingratitude is the essence of vileness. I'll sum it all up for you. Entitlement is repulsive. It literally repels people. And entitlement is the opposite of gratitude. And I don't need a graph or a chart to tell you that entitlement is on the rise. And it makes sense. We live in an abundant culture. And we're starting to get used to that abundance and starting to feel like we should expect it. But it's not the worst terror aparter of human connection. The worst terror aparter of human connection comes from John Gottman. He's the guy who studied thousands of married couples. All right, this is crazy. Thousands of married couples into his office, they have a conversation, he films the whole thing, takes the data back to his lair, and he and his team analyze every single second of the footage. Every word, every gesture, every facial expression they looked at. And they were able to identify and crack the code of human connection. Here's what John Gottman can do now. He can watch any married couple for 3 to 5 minutes is all he needs. Any married couple, 3 to 5 minutes. And after that, he will be able to predict whether or not they will still be married 15 years from now. And he is 95% accurate. That puts mentalists like me to shame. It's pretty impressive stuff right there. 95% accuracy is incredible, especially 15 years down the road. How does he do it? Well, he says he looks for one thing more than anything else. It's been called the most dangerous human facial expression that we can make. It's the only asymmetrical expression that we make naturally. If you were to show pictures of this facial expression to people while they were hooked up to medical equipment, the medical equipment would know. Their blood pressure would go haywire, their heart rate would increase, their immune system would start to fail just by looking at a picture of a facial expression. I'm going to show you a picture in a second, but don't look directly into his eyes, otherwise your bodies may start to break down. It's the emotion of contempt. Contempt! This is the emotion that says, I'm here, you are here. I am morally superior to you, and don't you be bringing that stuff around me anymore. I mean, please, right? This is that contempt expression. And if there is a relationship in your life that you care about, here's another one. Amanda Knox, yes? If there is a relationship in your life that you care about, be very, very careful of contempt leaking out onto your face. Rather, you should have our fifth trait of human connection. Patience. The ability to offer grace and forgiveness is vanishing from our culture. We are more now-oriented and results-focused than we ever have been. And we don't have time for patience. If someone messes up or aggravates you or cuts you off on the road, sets us off. Patience is incredibly important to human connection. I want you to try something for me. Everybody, it's going to be a little bit weird, but I need you to play along. Hold up your hands just like this. Everybody look at your hands. You all have lines on your hands, yes? We call those creases. They're not wrinkles. You're good? There's one on your wrist, right where your palm meets your wrist. Do you all see it? Cool. You should have one in each hand. Line them up together. Put them right on top of each other. And then press your hands together. Roll them like this so your hands look like mine. You will notice that one hand is slightly larger than the other hand, right? We are human. We are imperfect. People have had patience with us in the past. It's important that we have patience with them. Yes, we're imperfect, right? Most of us. Hold up your shorter hand. There you go. If your hands are exactly the same length, just pick one. It doesn't matter. Pick up. We'll make this work for you. Look at the shorter hand or the random hand. And this is where it gets weird. Ready? Repeat after me. Grow! Grow! What is wrong with you? Why can't you be more like your brother? Or your sister. That's good. Yeah, ad lib. That's cool. Stretch it out. Seriously, feel it. Feel the skin stretching. Look at it and imagine it were growing like you were watching a time-lapse photography of a tree growing in the forest. Watch it grow. Now here's the crazy part. Re-measure your hands. Your shorter hand will now be longer than your longer hand. Exactly. Exactly, that's what I said. If that worked, hold up your now your new longer hand, right? Give yourselves a big round of applause, nicely done. Giving you a lot of statistics here tonight. I've given you a lot of indications that human connection is vanishing from our culture. What can we do about it? That's the bottom line. Well, this hand thing worked, not because I'm a mentalist and I shot out brain waves through the ether and actually grew your hand. No, that didn't happen. Sorry to disappoint you. What actually happened was your belief changed, and you influenced what we call our ideomotor response. Our ideomotor response was what changed all the tiny little muscle movements that were required to measure your hands. This is not a scientific measurement. Your muscles and your brain affected it behind your back without you even being aware of it. Isn't that weird? But here's the interesting thing. When your beliefs change, our results change. Gandhi said it this way: your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values. And your values become your destiny. It all starts with belief. And I don't know about you, but I believe that while it's possible to accumulate too much stuff in this world, I believe it's impossible to accumulate too much human connection.